The no-touch indexing saves my team a ton of time. So we can use those resources in a more productive way. The billers are not doing this repetitive work. They have more time to do higher level thinking, which makes their jobs more interesting and probably will help with retention. I mean, there's a ton of financial implications when someone's job just becomes more interesting.
Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining today's session. My name is Brian Soule, and I'm a Senior Director of Product here at Transflo, and we welcome warmly Breonda to this webinar, where as a Chief Financial Officer of Hill Brothers, she's going to be able to give us not only the vision of what she has for her back office and all of her finance services, but also how she's getting there.
We started off as a temperature-controlled freight provider. We now have reefers, dry vans, a lot of logistics work, and then we also just started a school. So we have a lot of needs. We're a very complex business, and we work with Transflo just because they can satisfy all of our needs.
We also know that as you guys are growing, your customers view you as very reliable. You have a high customer satisfaction, but you need something from your customer too. And that's this: for services rendered, you need to get paid. And we understand that there's a lot that goes into that. If you don't mind, please share with us the vision that you have for your entire revenue services team, all the way from start to finish. And then we'll go ahead and touch on the first milestone that you've been hitting recently.
We're a very collaborative company. And so we really try to break down the barriers across all of the departments. We work very closely with our operations and sales teams on our invoicing. And because of that, we have to have a lot of visibility to all the customer invoicing and all the paperwork that is involved when you do invoice a customer after they complete a load. So I kind of chunk invoicing into a few different categories, which I think has helped us through this Transflo Workflow AI beta process. We first start when the load completes, and then we start the paperwork process. Within that paperwork process, we start with indexing. We have to perform an audit to make sure all the paperwork we receive is valid and we can invoice the customer. There's a number of customer rules that go along with each customer. We have to make sure that they satisfy the customer's specific needs before we actually send the invoice. Timing is a concern sometimes. Then we create the invoices and send them out and record all of those records in our TMS. So we kind of chunked it into those categories, and I think that's helped us to get through this first beta.
One of the things that we quickly realized as we were going through the beta process is that a lot of transportation companies, even there was aspects where you guys had what we consider the tribal understanding. And that tribal understanding is like, well, Bob always does it this way, and Bob knows that this customer ABC definitely is this or that. And so we had to turn that into a rule. Right? So the AI had to go from saying this or that to it is this or it's not that. How has the experience of turning your tribal rules into true AI exception-based processes helped you optimize your business a little bit?
There are certain customers where we can just auto invoice, and so one of the things that's nice with AI is once the system recognizes that we've received a POD and in some cases a BOL, we can auto invoice those customers. And so that's a good chunk of the business that we do. So speeding up that process and invoicing the customers, I'm sure will have an impact on our days sales outstanding.
And so when we think about that, the thing that I'll speak from a personal situation for myself. I had to deal with paperwork for a very long time when I was in a safety department. So not exactly finance, even though I also helped with revenue services in the past. There's just so much to do as a human. When you look at a document, you have to read it, and then you have to make sure it's classified correctly. And then you have to pull off the information that's key. How has the AI sped that process up for your team? Specifically, I remember talking to two of your folks. They every morning they had to do that. How does their outlook now change when they come in on a daily basis once you guys go 100% live?
So the biggest impact that AI has had is on our auto indexing. So we get just hundreds of documents in all the time. And historically, our team had to go into Transflo and index all of those individually by load. You can imagine how much time that would take. About 80% of that process is now automated, which is really huge. And it just reduces the amount of work that my billing team has on a daily basis, about 2 hours a day for each of them.
The first thing that comes into my mind is that's just in your current state.
Correct.
Now imagine if your best sales guy sells some giant customers and now it's time to scale. Having that in place, how does that give you comfort versus what you would have done if a giant customer showed up tomorrow?
I mean, it's huge. The scalability of this product has, I mean, I can see the potential. It's going to be incredible.
And again, I'm so excited to have worked with you guys. I saw how we took those tribal processes, we turned them into rules. And even I remember one of, I believe it was your controller or maybe director of the revenue services. And he's like, I actually like going through this process because I can now turn this into a true hard rule. So I really, it was very enjoyable working with you guys from that perspective. But there's one other thing that's worrisome, right? Because you have this new AI that's coming on board. It does all this work for you, but you still have to do your day in and day out business. Mm-hmm. You can't just gut and replace something.
Right.
How was your experience with doing the parallel processing of Workflow AI? Was your process disrupted on your team?
So it was a bit more work, but it was very manageable. The team had to go through and continue to index on the existing system and also compare the results they were seeing in the AI product. And after they got used to the system, which actually didn't take them very long, they were whipping through and processing invoices right in the AI workflow.
It was really nice to see them get excited about things that I've been excited with probably for way too long. So I do have one last big question. What advice would you give to other carriers considering an AI-powered solution such as Workflow AI? And how is it important to choose the right partner who really understands the industry?
We have worked with Transflo since 2012. We started with the indexing DMS product. We then purchased the ELDs, and because the process is so integrated with Transflo, it was a natural choice for us to choose the Workflow AI carrier product. We have built a lot of strong relationships across the years, and so just knowing who to talk to, and if we're stuck during the beta process, it was just really helpful to have your team help us through any questions that we had, and that was wonderful too. So it's just very nice to have a partner like that on our team, and it has made the implementation of this product just wonderful, just very smooth and seamless. We always like having early access and a lot of control when we're going through the product. So it was nice to have a say in the development. And I think we got everything that we need to make the product work the way we need it to work. And so I believe a lot of companies will benefit from that.
You have a vision for your team, you have a vision for your company, and as CFO, you have a lot of say. So now you've hit that first milestone, which is making sure that the capture, index, and audit process are no longer a stressor for your team. What are you going to do next? And how are we going to move you to full automation? What do you envision?
Well, for someone who's considering a product like this, I would just say start small. AI is a big animal, and just bite off a little piece and get started. We did that very thing. We're just starting with indexing. We do have some of the audit process implemented, and then we'll get into auto invoicing. But we just want to be comfortable with what we're doing, and we're taking it one step at a time, making sure that our salespeople, our customer service people are comfortable with how we're communicating with the customer, and just taking it slow.
One of the things that we pride ourselves in is making sure that we have a easy connection to your TMS, and that your users don't have to toggle between 3 screens anymore, because we bring in your TMS data in a way that is reflective of the entire load.
So at the beginning of this project, we had to map out all of our data to make sure that it was importing into Workflow AI. And now it is. It was a bit of an effort, but now that it's working, it's very seamless to our Trimble system. The users don't see any delay. The documents appear immediately, and our data from our TMS shows up in the system at the same time.
All right, Breonda, thank you so much again for sharing not only a little bit of your story, but your vision, your initial milestones, and the process in which that you took to get AI ready into this next year, 2025. We're super excited. We also want to thank our viewers for being able to listen in, perhaps gain new insights, and then also look forward to a way that they too can take advantage of AI. I invite anyone to come and talk to any one of our Transflo representatives to get a real solid understanding on how they can reduce the time it takes to invoice, increase automation, and again, use the time saved for more effective means. So thanks again, signing off, till next time.